individual states. This is an absolute must. And when I talk about sovereignty, what I talk about is the immutable fact that the Constitution, the Second Amendment, the Constitution that we have in Ohio, and really the wonderful gun rights provisions that are in the Ohio Constitution, have to remain as the supreme law of the land. Now, I can tell you they are under tremendous attack right now. Any of you that have lost a job to NAFTA, right? You'll know very well, not only have you lost a job, but in the process we've started ceding sovereignty around. CAFTA, the North American Union, all of these processes that are eroding our sovereignty. Right now the Obama administration is pushing hard on something called LOST, the Law of the Sea Treaty, to cede jurisdiction over all waterways to the United Nations. Right? The United Nations, folks, is not your friend. Right? The United Nations was founded, mind you, by Soviet agents, right? Anybody remember the name Alger Hiss? Right? Alger Hiss was the Thomas Jefferson of the United Nations Charter. He wrote the thing. He was the first Secretary General of the United Nations. This organization is a communist organization through and through. It means nothing more than to destroy the United States and our rights to carry a gun. This is not something that needs reform. It's not something that needs a little bit change. It needs something that be absolutely killed and destroyed and go away. And that is the only answer with regard to
Owens, I think you want to tell me about the statue that's outside the UN building there.
Well, I'll tell you, and in fact, I've got a book over on our little book table. I've got a little setup with my FNFAL. Boy, I love shooting that thing. Called the UN Global Gun Grab, and it has a photo of a gun with the tube of or the barrel of the gun tied around in a knot. And what's noticeable here is that it's essentially like a .38 caliber revolver. And what's important distinction on this is that we're not talking about military weapons that they want to take away from you. We're talking about 6-shot handguns. We're talking about total civilian disarmament and nothing less. That's what's going on. That's why this organization has to be stopped, and certainly I commend you to take a look at that. But if we're going to fight on sovereignty grounds, we have to clearly identify who are the enemies to sovereignty. Right? If we don't know who the enemy is, how are we going to effectively fight back? It's not possible. So as Patrick Henry said, I'm willing to know the truth, to know the worst, and to provide for it. So how do we identify these enemies? Well, as a former prosecutor, I found that there's 2 tools for rooting out these guys that is devastatingly effective. One, we follow the money. The money will always lead you back to the ringleaders. 2, we look for admissions as to what they're doing. Right? Now, as Tweet Ring can probably tell you, criminals love to talk. Oh, they love to talk. And the bigger the criminal, the bigger the ego, and by golly, the more they love to talk. So perhaps we should listen to them and exactly what it is they're saying. Now, chief among the people that are seeking the absolute destruction of the United States Constitution and civilian disarmament is this guy right here, David Rockefeller. Right? He wants to take your guns away. He is perhaps the nation's foremost dangerous gun grabber that we face. The money, the power that he wields is tremendous. Now, I talked about admissions, and so let's just take a look as to what he had to say in his autobiography, because I think it's very telling. After he gets done talking about all his friends in Moscow and his trips to Cuba and all his communist friends, he says, "Some even believe we are part of a secret cabal working against the best interests of the United States, characterizing my family and me as internationalists, and of conspiring with others around the world to build a more integrated global political and economic structure. One world, if you will. If that's the charge, I stand guilty and I'm proud of it." Right? That's his words. Cabal, conspiracy. That's not my words. That's David Rockefeller's words. So let's take a look. Who is it that he's conspiring with? And here again, I'll tell you that, as is many the case, and certainly we see in the Christian church, where the false leaders in the Christian church are perhaps the worst enemy to Christianity. It's not atheists, right? As Thomas Jefferson remarked, where the truth stands, bad ideas will fail of their own accord, right? It's the false leaders that will lead you astray, that will tell you, well, a little compromise is okay, right? You don't really need 20 shots and a gun, right? I mean, you don't need that. Right? These are the people that we have to root out and call them on the carpet and let them know exactly what they are and that we won't stand for it. Now, I can tell you, as we're looking at the sort of internal destruction of the Obama's administration, and anybody that's paying attention to the poll numbers see that they're nosediving currently. We're going to set up for probably another swing back to the Republican Party in the 2010 elections. And we have to be careful and discerning as to who those leaders are. Because I got to tell you, one of David Rockefeller's chief henchmen is a guy named Newt Gingrich. Okay? Newt Gingrich will lead you astray. Newt Gingrich is a member of David Rockefeller's group, the Council on Foreign Relations. And these are the guys that engineered NAFTA, that engineered CAFTA, that engineered the North American Union, that are pushing hard for amnesty, all of these kinds of things, and ultimately will take your guns away. Oh, they'll say the nicest things right up to the point where they disarm you. They will sound wonderful, but if you follow the money, and you listen to what these guys say, you will know who the enemy is. And it is absolutely critical that we inform ourselves, we inform our neighbors, and we do not allow false leaders into the room. Now, there are some solutions, and let me point this out. First of all, know that a small group of tireless people working for freedom can be devastatingly effective. And I think what we've seen with Ohioans for Concealed Carry proves that point. And there's so many other examples where that is true. Remember, in the American Revolution, we're talking about a small minority of people that got involved to take charge of this thing and bring people around, right? A small group of people can make a difference, and know that you can make a difference. Do not support candidates that are ultimately going to betray you, and stay firm on these issues. Also, I would say, pray without stop. The solution ultimately is going to be through a spiritual awakening here in the United States. And we're going to see what we can do to start another great awakening, because that truly is going to be the answer through Jesus Christ. And I know that for absolute certainty. In conclusion, let me say that there are truly some fine young candidates that are coming up that are very firm. Let me do a quick plug for one of them. In the city of Columbus, there's a lady named Alicia Healy. Anybody know Alicia? Seen any of her YouTube videos? Alicia is outstanding. There's a wonderful YouTube video of her at the Tax Day Tea Party on YouTube. You can take a look at it. And I can tell you that she is an absolutely rock-solid person on gun rights, on so many other things, and that will bring truly a refreshing change to City Council. This group is outstanding. I again commend you for your wonderful work. I'm proud to be a member of Ohioans for Concealed Carry, and if anybody in the audience is not currently a member, I would definitely say this is the group to join. Thank you very much.